Coming up on this episode of Free Lunch.
Some people is cool being a lion all their life. I'd rather be a lion tamer, a lion trainer. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be the plug that people go to find the lions. Sometimes you have to go deep rather than wide. You know what I'm saying? Deep rather than wide. So that, you know what I'm saying? Like that could look like, you know, maybe instead of building a lot of new connections in my accessibility, maybe I go deeper on the accessibility I have with the current connections. Your spirit is also going to feel it. You know what I'm saying?
My gut.
Your gut.
My abs got real tight.
Your body's going to have a response because that's what's going to create the magnetism, man, the character and integrity.
Yes.
It's a lot of talented people that may not have the integrity.
It's Free Lunch Season 3 with a special thanks to our sponsors, Bullseye-LLC.com, Ready, Aim, Bullseye, where safety is our ammo, Gen1LLC.info, Generation 1 Logistics, taking pride in putting our carriers first and helping owner-operators get premium loads, stay organized, and increase profit, and ScarletOakCandleCo.com, the self-care experts. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Freestyle Gospel, a.k.a. The Real Free, with another episode of Free Lunch. Is free food for your soul. Y'all like how I did that there? I tried to hit that other octave, that high pitch sound there. But anyways, without any further ado, I got my man here, lyricist, creative extraordinaire, another serial creative in the building, y'all. Frank Brady, give it up for him, y'all. Give it up for him.
What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up?
Yeah. How you doing, fam?
Man, I'm doing great, man. You know, I'm definitely glad to be here, man.
Yo,
definitely.
I ain't gonna even hold y'all. I'm gonna keep it a whole buck with you, right? Frank been in here recording he done recorded like 3 episodes in here in the studio, but we ain't have the mics on. So I just was like, you know what, man? I'm turning the mics on. You know, he came through. I thought, you know what I mean, he was gonna just come through, pop in, you know, check out the studio, give me dap and be out, man. He done been here building with your boy for 2+ hours already. So I'm so grateful, man, for your time. You know, I've always, you know, been telling you, man, like, yo, we gotta link, we gotta connect. Then I finally just called him out today, y'all. I was like, listen, stop ducking me. If you don't come through, all right, we not friends no more. Don't speak to me. Nah, man.
He definitely did hit me up, though.
I did.
Hit me up.
That part is factual.
Yeah.
So, yo, maybe for the people who either live under a rock here in Connecticut, or for the people who are states and countries away, shout out to Ukraine, man. I was looking at the actual analytics, yo, and then like they just popped up in my mind again because I saw we actually got some listeners, yo, for the podcast in Ukraine, bro.
Wow.
So, yo, prayers up, you know, for the people of Ukraine, everything they're going through right now, man.
Most definitely.
But yeah, for those who don't know who you are, maybe for the sake of brevity, the abbreviated, like Cliff Note version real quick, you know. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Frank E. Brady. I also go by the name of the Hope Dealer, pushing dreams and giving hope.
Yes, sir.
Poet, lyricist, education consultant, mental health advocate, you know, creative digital marketer. I mean, I do a jack of all trades, master of some.
Yeah. Master of some. You know what? You caught me off that. I don't usually hear that last part like that.
Yeah.
They say master of none usually.
Mm-hmm.
But you said I'm still master of some of these joints.
Yeah, some of them. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to steal that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to steal that one.
Still away.
Yeah, facts. Now I don't want to lose the train of thought. Literally, y'all, like no cap. Like this dude literally was like diarrhea of the mouth, like going in on him for the last 2 hours, and then I just forced him to stop. So I'm trying to remember what we had last. I left off at what we was talking about. Because I really wanted to finish that. What were we talking about?
I think we were talking about a couple of different things, man. But one of the things we were talking about, man, is like, you know, what does it look like to really impact people? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, facts for sure.
Impact people, you know what I'm saying? Help people. We definitely both individuals that, you know, help people
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I think you were talking about what either not leadership, but like what does it look like to help somebody from the ground level up rather than from the top down?
Yeah. See, you ain't even throwing that top down piece, when we mentioned it before.
Yeah.
Yo, from the ground up or top down?
Yeah.
Which one is better? You know what? And I don't even think, like, my whole thing with people trying to quantify everything is like, we got to stop that. Like, sometimes things, it's not even an issue of this way is better than the way you do it.
Right.
Sometimes it just is. Like, you do it that way, and that way has a certain utility.
Yeah, it works for you.
And or works for a certain collective of people, right?
Right.
Especially when it comes to the, fact of impacting people or helping people. And people, when we use that word, is so broad. In general, there are people that are all types of ways, like, types of personalities, right? So the way you do it from the ground up may not actually reach somebody, right? Like a certain individual may only be able to be reached from the top down.
True story.
Right? And like where that, just so even y'all know, kind of the place we're coming from with the whole bottom up or top down is like the idea of, like if you ever seen, like a military training video and they show you guys like clips of, soldiers helping each other get over a tall wall and they don't have any ladder, it's just their bodies, right? You have a person on the ground who is in like what do you call that position? Like a sitting, like a crouch, like
crouching position.
Sitting position, right? Yeah. I know like in basketball drills, like coach used to have us like do that, sitting up on the wall. So you have a person in that position, and then you have somebody who climbs up on top of them, and then they, have a certain position. Then someone pulls up the third person, and that's the person who first gets over the wall. And then now they're kind of like hanging over from the top down, reaching to grab up the subsequent people that are coming, right? But then there's like I said, that person who's at the top of the wall, who've already made it up, and now they're hanging themselves, their arm down to reach down and grab someone up. But then there's that person who's at the bottom, the ground level. They're both feet flat on the ground, and they are very instrumental as well. And that's the part where, how I was saying, not quantifying it. Like no soldier would look at that setup and say to you, oh, the person on the ground is more important than the person hanging over the top. Like there's utility in every single position role in there.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm more the person, and I think Frank would agree with me. So is he. Are those people that are poised? You used a term that I thought was really dope. Made. Yeah. You made to be the ground up individual.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Some people try to like learn one of their positions. But I think it's more about discovering your position that you was made to be.
Yeah, discovery is everything, man. You're only going to make the discovery through life experience.
Facts.
Growth.
Yeah.
Being in situations, and seeing, what comes out of you in situations too.
I think if I had to guess how I came to know that was like the position I was made for, is it just like it feels right. But I try to be like, more practical in an explanation than like so esoteric or whatever, or like spiritual.
Right.
Like so, you could give maybe somebody else an idea of how to find or discover what's for them, what's suited for them, like how will they impact. But yeah, I think like past just like you just feeling it, like I think if you look around in your immediate world, in the ways you move in other parts of your life, you'll see glimpses of it. Like you'll be able to see it. Okay, this is how I naturally seem to do.
Impact people. Like how do you naturally show up for people? How do you naturally impact people? Like what's your nature, and what's your nature in a way that's healthy too, right? You got to analyze what's healthy and what's unhealthy, because you can find it in both. You know what I'm saying? One might need to be rehabbed a little bit. One might need to be pushed forward and amped up a little bit, but You can find it in both, definitely.
Yeah, facts. Nah, I think if I had to guess, I think anytime you find yourself moving, whether the goal is to impact someone or not, no matter what the goal is, I think when you find yourself moving in a manner that's not what you were created to do or move in, it's like climbing an uphill battle, so to speak, right? Like you find yourself working harder than you need to be because that's not your space. That's not what you. Perfect example of this, because I am with the visuals. I gotta have a visual.
Right. Yeah.
Perfect example of what it's like for you to be working in a manner that's not necessarily what you were made for. Looks like and feels like the experience you have when you try to eat spaghetti with a spork. Now, hear me out.
Yeah.
I intentionally did not say spoon because people think they can psych either the system or convince themselves or convince the person on the other side by just making a slight modification, and I'll make it work. And the problem with that is just like the spork, right? Is what's made for a fork to do the job, right? Somebody said somewhere, you know what? But I'm made to be a spoon, but I want to still interact with this spaghetti.
Exactly.
So maybe if I just put some nicks in the top of my spoon, I'll be able to get the job done. And the problem is the work you attempt to get done gets messy.
Right.
You might get some of the food of spaghetti in your mouth. You might get some of the work done, but then you leave a whole bunch that falls off the edges. You get it becomes messy. But to a certain degree, you look and step back and go, well, it's doable. But really, like, do we want to live in a reality where we just do things because it was doable, or do things to a degree of excellence or efficacy that just I got the job done. We got it done. Right. Or do we want to do it excellent? Do we want to do it well?
That's real. And I think, when you're looking at what it is to operate in excellence, and literally, move in excellence, you got to have the right tools. You know what I'm saying? You have to have the right tools,
But in this context, we're essentially saying you're the tool.
Yeah.
Right? And knowing what tool you are, the utility that is you.
Yeah.
That role.
I would say that, but when I say you have to have the right tools, I take it a step further. You are the toolbox. You know what I'm saying? And you can house multiple tools inside you at the same time. So you are that essential toolbox.
Facts.
It's like, and I love metaphors, right? Like I love to take metaphors, man. Whenever I think work with people, any type of capacity, you know what I'm saying? We both have a background working with youth and young people, especially, right? And just any people in general, man. I liken it to saying you may have somebody that has a problem that needs a screwdriver, right? But all you got is a hammer. What you gonna do? Knock that screw in there? You gonna damage the nail, the screw, trying to solve that problem with a hammer when you need a screwdriver. But if you don't got a screwdriver, all you got is a hammer, and all you know is a hammer. That's all you know how to attack or help their problem.
Bang, bang, bang.
You know what I'm saying? But if you have a different tool in your arsenal, if you have that screwdriver or something like that, then now you can effectively service that problem or that issue or respond.
You know what? That you just made me think of something else you said earlier, was you being a connector. Right? And sometimes if you even take the analogy you gave of like the toolbox, right? You might be the device that houses a plethora of tools.
Exactly.
And connect. So you now become the individual in the community that, this thing needs a screw, driver, and I might just be a hammer or whatever. But in this toolbox that is me and my network, I know a screwdriver. I know a flathead screwdriver. I know a Phillips. You know, I know a wrench.
All types of screwdrivers.
I know a wrench.
All types
you know what I'm
of
saying?
wrenches,
I can
man.
get you plugged in.
Yeah.
The toolbox is not just where it's for you, but the toolbox can also be metaphor for you housing and being the connector for all these other people that are the right tool for the job. You know, so you are connected with a screwdriver. You are connected with the person who could be a wrench. And how it even takes you being able to not be threatened by someone else's gift or talent in order for you to be the connector that you are.
Right.
Because I'm not afraid of you coming in and shining for what you were designed and created to be.
Right. Some people is cool with being a lion all their life. I'd rather be a lion tamer, a lion trainer. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be the plug that people to go to find the lions. You know what I mean? I don't got to be a top lion.
Yo.
I could train the lions.
I go find the lions. I tell you where they at.
I tell you where they at. Where the lions at. I don't need to be the lion, man. Every lion gonna lose their roar.
You know what that reminds me of?
What's that?
Rafiki.
Oh yeah.
Yo. Frank said I want to be Rafiki all the way.
For real, man.
I know the way.
I'm a make.
But Rafiki had my respect.
Exactly. I'd rather give me
Who's
the
that
respect.
dude?
I'll eat for the rest of my life off respect.
That's fire.
I'll eat for the rest of my life off respect, man. I don't need to be out in the field all da-da-da-da-da. But if it's a younger lion or a young lion that has their legs up and they need the experience, why not put them in a position? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because then now that extends my toolbox. Now my toolbox is full of lions. My pride full of lions. You know what I mean? You can go to me for, okay, what do you need? I got you. You know, that's how I look at it, as being a connector, man. Like, yeah, come to me for what you need. And the thing is, you have to also have shown and prove. Like, I've shown and proved I'm handy with what I do. Yeah. Sturdy, you know, what I do. But I think it's, now you know, okay, if I got a reputation for what I do, that means I'm not going to put somebody in there that's going to do less. This might be different, but it's not going to be less than what I do. This might be look a little different. So if I put somebody into an opportunity in my stead or something like that, know that they come solid. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they come in with 110%.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's different. It might look different from what I do.
It might look different, man, but it's going to get you what you need.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, that's what's up. You gotta, but that you can't deny that trust factor. You know, when you're trying to connect, you know, communities that are filled with talented people, and how we said too when we was off air, just the fact that like if you're a type of individual that you know other people in your community that are gifted, that are talented, that could be a solution to a problem that you have or that you are aware of that's presented to you, but you have ego in the way or you have fear or distrust of the people in the way. Now, like you said, you end up trying to take a hammer and do the job of a screwdriver because you like, nah, it ain't gonna steal my shine. Like I'm gonna jump to this opportunity, but now you've made yourself look like an idiot. And you've caused harm, to the screw that needed a screwdriver.
Exactly.
Now you've damaged it, and now the right tool, when that thing comes in contact with the right tool, what happens? It can't even be put to good use.
Nope.
Because it's been damaged by ego. Somebody who just had to be the one to do the job and have their hands on it. You done messed me up and now made the job of the screwdriver even that much more difficult.
That's what happens.
And we see that in behavioral health, in the school. How many times I know I've seen this, you come behind poor teaching or a teacher who's done it the wrong way. And you try to come doing it the right way. You got the right approach, but because you got the student who's already been the head been scratched up and damaged. Now when the right tool comes in contact, it's like, I got to do all this extra work. I got to undo somehow the damage the wrong tool did, the wrong teacher, the wrong parenting, the wrong...
You know what I'm saying? The wrong conflict mediation, you know?
Oh, yeah. Now they don't even want to see you.
Yeah.
I done seen but that's the same with therapy, right?
Mm-hmm.
The wrong therapist makes already an anxious individual say,
oh man.
"Oh, you supposed to be the right therapist now? I don't want to see you."
It dials that anxious attachment up to 1,000. It's probably already on 100 now. It's on 1,000, right? But I think the point about it is, I just learned, man, that there's enough. I look at it like this: it's enough for everyone to shine. Like, people don't think so.
Yeah,
but there's how many billions of people on this earth?
It's billions,
right?
Man.
Like
billions.
And
billions.
What do I don't have the capacity to do all that I can. Well, not can. Let me rephrase it. I don't have the capacity to constantly do everything that is expected of me just because of my reputation and my track record. But I do have the capacity to be a filter. You know what I'm saying? I do have the capacity to say, look, I can do this, or if I can't do this, I know this person that can do this really well, or this person that can do this really well, or this person, right? You have to know your capacity and your limitation.
I think too, it's like you said too off the air, we were talking about like how powerful like those thoughts are, right? Mm-hmm. The crazy thing about the person that feels like there's not enough people in the world, right? Or there's not enough. They have that
scarcity mindset.
Yeah, scarcity mindset or poverty mindset, right? Right. The crazy thing is, because the mind is so powerful, their flawed or just downright wrong thinking can actually become their reality.
Oh yeah, it's cemented.
Like that's what happens, and it only then now perpetuates more of their wrong thinking. Yeah. So now they completely miss that the reason my reality is what I'm thinking is because it began first manifesting itself from your thought. Right. That initial place of whether it's from trauma, bad experiences, from that wrong thinking. Wrong thinking begets more wrong thinking. Right. And wrong thinking begets one bad reality, and more bad realities, and the bad realities encourage the more bad thinking, wrong thinking.
Yeah,
it's
cyclical.
It's vicious cycle.
It's cyclical. It's patterns, and again, how this all plays together. We talked about it earlier, man. Patterns, cyclical behavior, all that's cognitive, but also that's neurobiological. Because while whatever someone's locked into thinking wise, the neurons in the brain, them things form stronger connections through the synapses. So the pathways of behavior become stronger and more cemented. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They become reinforced.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever happens in the presynaptic gets through the synapse, goes to the postsynaptic, right? Because the neurons in the brain, they get strengthened by connections. The longer something, the more something's repeated, the stronger it gets. The more something's repeated, stronger it gets. Stronger it gets, right? So, man, it's like our bodies are always responding like that.
And I think it's what made it really like drive home to me is when you first had mentioned that to me off air was the how a new behavior becomes a habit, right? How it evolves to that thing, because
it does evolve.
It's getting used to it. And then you said something about how now it can actually skip parts of the brain that when it was first began, because it's like taking a shortcut.
It's a pathway.
Like, we know this.
It's a neurological pathway.
We know this is where we're headed.
Yeah.
So let's just skip the in between. We can take the shortcut.
You don't gotta zoop around here now. You just know that you've done it enough. Zoop. Boom. You ain't gotta go zoop, zoop. You go zoop, and then you right here. It's man. It's conditioning, right? And
it's crazy how we only think conditioning applies to things like the tangible.
Right.
Like outward behaviors. But not realizing like the conditioning starts here, one, right? Like if we can condition the thought processes, right? How we think, conditioning that, like redoing that. And many times we try to work from the outside in. Right. Rather than
everything is inside out.
Not realizing, catching that part. Like I got to first change how I'm thinking about this. That's what's going to lead to these things changing and my feet changing what they do.
Right.
I have a flawed thought somewhere that's driving how I'm behaving.
And the thoughts literally send signals for what the body is supposed to do. So I think a lot of times people separate what's going on in my mind from what's happening in my body. Well, there's no separation, like whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like our minds command our bodies.
Those things are in communion.
Look, why do you think they call it a circulatory system inside of us? It's a circulation. Everything works together. You know what I'm saying? Everything works together, like literally.
Yeah.
You feel one thing, you hit your toe. Let's talk about the process of hitting your toe. You hit your toe, what's gonna happen? A couple of things gonna happen. You know, it's your body is gonna respond, your brain is gonna respond in a pain base. Your nervous system is gonna feel the pain, right?
Yeah.
Your nervous system is gonna trigger your brain. Your prefrontal lobe, right? Your frontal lobe, your prefrontal cortex is now gonna cognitively remember, right? Call that memory, right? Is gonna come back of when you hit your toe before. It's gonna associate it with different types of pain, right? Yeah. Your spirit is also gonna feel it. You know what I'm saying?
My gut.
Your gut.
My abs got real tight.
Your body's gonna have a response. So, and that's, you know, you stub your toe, you're gonna think about other times you stub your toe or something, right? Yeah, time travel is possible when you trigger. Your body's gonna go back to another time when it felt that type of pain.
Yeah.
Your body literally responds like that.
Yeah.
You know, so I really believe that if we really, as a society, as people, understood how interconnected every experience we have in life is with every part of our body, like we would be more intentional about our experiences. We'd be more intentional how we interact with each other.
Now, it doesn't mean that, like, you know, when you say for you think you're not just your gift, because you have many gifts, but like your purpose of connecting, right? People, the right people to the right people.
Right.
We could see the efficacy in that of everybody being that way to some degree.
Right.
I mean, I guess I'll just ask that. Would you say that's what everybody essentially should be?
Yeah, everyone should be a connector.
A connector?
Because everyone has a network of people. Everyone has experiences. Everyone has something that they bring to the table.
So like a conductor.
Conductor.
Everyone should be a conductor of this electricity. This
well,
energy,
here's the funny thing, bro. Everyone is a conductor, but not everyone's a connector. Just because you're a conduit don't mean you know how to make the connections run right. So everyone is a conductor, but not everyone
Frank,
is a
don't be trying to spit that poetry on my podcast, man.
Yo, think about it like this, right? We a conductor of experience. Everyone's in the conductor of experiences. Like, this is what I mean by that, right? We all have life experiences. We are always interacting with each other. You know what I'm saying? At all times. Now, just because we're all conductors of life experience, life electricity, life energy, we're conducting, we're bouncing off the walls, bouncing off of each other all the time. But not all of us are intentional about, okay, I bounced off the walls, bounced around, connected with this person, you know, bumped into that person, right? Conducted an interaction, a conversation, an exchange, have a memory, right? That doesn't mean I'm going to be intentional about saying, okay, how can I connect this person to that person, this person to that person?
Yeah.
So everybody's a conductor, but not everybody's a connector. You got to be conscious and intentional to be a connector. Everyone could be, right? But no, that doesn't mean they're putting the intentionality behind that. You know what I mean? Because we're always conducting conversations, experiences, you know, all the time. But do we take the chances, the opportunity to stop, pause, and reflect, and understand who we're bumping into, you know, who we're experiencing life with, you know, and I look at it like I have an experience with you that made me feel good.
Yeah.
Who else do I have experiences with that make me feel good? Do they need to connect with each other to have experiences that'll make them feel good? Right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm talking about?
Gotcha,
that's where the connection piece comes into play. You know?
So if you're somebody, you know, let's say like me, like I have a desire to be a connector. I have a desire to, connect people and individuals, but obviously for that to be, effective, that takes some part of that other person or those other people you're trying to connect, right?
Right.
Like, so you can be this connector who's excellent at doing what it is you do, but then you run into people who I don't wish to be connected.
Right.
With some, how you said, like, in our particular area, you feel like a lot of, New Haven exists in these silos.
Right. That's true. Yep.
So like perfect example, how you said about the battle rap league, right?
Yeah.
You was like, this is the first time this person was meeting this person, but you was like, the whole time I knew all of y'all.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's how do you make peace? I'll say that word. With when you come face to face with that reality, like you are moving in your connection, connectedness, whatever. You trying to say, you like, yo, you need to connect with this person, and then you see that pushback or like resistance there, right? Are you like, at peace with that? Where like people just like, hell, I've been trying to like, connect you with some, good people,
Right.
but it looked like, you might not be ready for that. So it's like, whatever.
Well, I think the way I look at it is I connect based on character and integrity. So.
Oh, so you're not even trying to, you don't even enter connector mode until you've already identified the character of people that are receptive to
character and integrity, man.
You're receptive to this.
Because that's what's going to create the magnetism, man. Character and integrity.
Yes.
It's a lot of talented people that may not have the integrity or may not focus on character.
Yeah.
Talent will take you places that integrity and character can't keep you if they ain't right. You know what I'm saying? So
say that again.
Character will take you places that talent will take you places that integrity and character can't keep you if integrity and character ain't right, or refined, or worked on, or aware of.
So you could get somewhere with your talent, but how long you able to stay there?
Yeah,
is the character and integrity piece.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like we see that in like sports,
music. I mean, yeah, man, you could be on top of the world, but if your character ain't right, you make a decision and you back to the bottom.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why I'm saying I go off of character and integrity. How have I watched? How have I interacted with you? How have I seen you interact with other people when no one's looking, or when I'm not watching, or what do other people say about you?
Somebody is definitely looking.
Yeah, what do other people say about you, man? Like, what is your name, and like, how good is it out there? You know what I'm saying? Like what we say, how good is your name in the streets? Like,
word to who?
Word to who? Word to who? You feel me? Like,
who you putting on?
You know what I'm saying? Because, and we talk about that too. Like, even in the streets, reputation is everything. Reputation is currency.
Yeah, respect too.
Respect is currency.
Respect is currency.
Yeah, respect is currency, man. Like,
yeah, man.
I tell people all the time, I'm not a street dude. I've never been a street dude, nothing like that.
Yeah.
A lot of folks in the streets, they got love for me or respect me because I just been solid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And had integrity and showed up.
I mean, I think that's what I think you get that when
for community. I'm a community dude.
Yeah.
I'm a street dude. I'm a community dude.
Facts. I mean, and you get and you get that from being. I think a lot of ways you garner that respect is from just being consistent, right?
Yeah.
Because it don't even gotta be from people. It's not like I respect you because you got the same mission I got.
Right.
Nah, I think people just respect when you are able to remain consistently you.
Yeah.
Like there's like, especially in some of the careers I had, like working under certain bosses or, management or whatever that are total like, like pricks or sticklers, like always riding you, whatever.
Yep.
But there's been versions of bosses like that I couldn't stand. And there's been versions of bosses exactly the same way, but I could rock with because they're consistent.
You know what you're going to get.
They're the same across the board with everybody. So now I don't even interact with them and take it as offense. Like you personally being on top of me, I can see you, you consistent like that on everybody.
Right.
Consistency got them my respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I challenge it a little further. Like, consistency gets that respect, but balance gets that devotion. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Balance gets the devotion.
Yeah, consistency gets the respect, but balance gets consistency gets the respect.
Yeah.
But balance gets the devotion.
That's a fact.
So this how I look at it, right?
That's a fact.
And this is just across the board.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He said balance gets the devotion. Yo, that's like a t-shirt, bro.
Yeah.
There's a hashtag. Balance gets the devotion.
For real.
Yo.
This is what I mean by balance, right? If you're a boss in any shape of the word, right? Across any space.
Corporate, right? Street, anything.
Yeah, anything. You got to be able to say, and I mean the balance is, right? I'm going to hold you up, right? I'm going to push you up, but I'm not going to let you fall at the same time.
Okay.
You see what I'm talking about? Like, literally, pushing you up means I'm holding you accountable. Like, you can't stay here. You got to climb. And I'm going to support you in climbing. I'm going to nudge you to get you to climb, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you slip, I'm still in the same stance catching you if you're falling. I'm not going to let you slip. I got you, but I'm not going to let you stay where you at.
I'm still here.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what it is. So it's like you could be a stickler on somebody, right? Really, attentive, a stickler, but also, do they know that you got their back? For real.
Yeah, nah.
Do they really know
facts.
that you got because if you pushing me, and I know you pushing me, but you also got my back, I know you really got the best for me in mind.
Yeah.
So you pushing me, but you also got my back. So then it's like, dang, it's coming from a space of love for real. Like I'm elevating, and it may not be comfortable, but you pushing me up. And I know that if I slip, you're going to be in the trenches with me. You see what I'm saying? You're going to have my back. That's what I'm talking about, the balance. That's the balance.
Yeah,
you can't just be a stickler and then not have the person's back.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Because when you
that's when you get devoted. That's when it's like, yo, I can't let this
say
thing
what you
lapse
want,
at
but
work.
that's my man. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. I can't let this lapse because I know this person that have my back. So it's tough work. Yeah. But I'm not trying to let my boss down, my manager down, my person down. Because they got my back. They're going to work me like a dog, but they're going to hold me down at the same time and have my back if I'm in a fight, if I'm in a situation. Yeah. You know how we say it in different, if I got to go to war, I know that my commander-in-chief is out there. They got my back. You know what?
The dopest like manifestation of just that you said, and it's true. It won my devotion from this dude is I had a boss where we had a really horrible snowstorm. And it was an overnight shift, and the bad snowstorm, like people was calling out left and right. Nobody showed up, and so I was like, you know what I mean? It was the first big snowstorm or time where this like kind of weather like this happened to me at this job. But I'm like, so I'm gonna still because I'm trying to make a good impression, whatever. Right. So I took a Uber. And I was like, I'll just Uber there. Leave my car home. I Uber to work. Got there. The next day, when the mornings come in, and like now the bosses are, supervisors are changing over, whatever. The store manager had found out from the overnight, supervisor, whatever, that I had took a Uber, and I was like one of the only ones who had came to work that night. He called me to like the front of the building over the intercom and was like, how much was the Uber? Told him how much the Uber is. He paid me out of his pocket right there in cash.
Solid.
And then, so the next time, like maybe a couple weeks after that, we had another bad snowstorm. What'd you think I did? He won my devotion. I'm like, so that's a solid dude right there.
Exactly.
Like I could show up and work hard for something like that. That was crazy. I was like, I ain't never seen nothing like that. I'm like, yo, what is this dude doing? Like reaching in his pocket, legit, like counting it out. And anytime, if you Uber and you know what Uber, fees do when it's bad weather.
Oh yeah, that surge is crazy.
So this was like a $30-something like Uber joint. And this dude like thank you for showing up.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, nah, that's fire, bro.
Yeah, man.
That's a hashtag.
Balance gets the devotion, man. Like that's really
balance wins the devotion.
Yeah, man. Yo, I look at
Dang,
it like,
man. But that's when I think about when even you think of like the person of Jesus, like think of that, like no, let me wash y'all feet. What?
Exactly.
That's crazy, bro.
Exactly.
People is missing that. Balance wins the devote. Like, wow.
You like flipped it. Like, no, let me wash y'all feet. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
That's crazy.
You know, and it's also like I'm not asking you to do anything I won't do too.
But that's what brought me back to from the top of the discussion.
Yeah.
Why I wanna help people from the ground up.
Yeah.
Versus from the top down. I don't have nothing against anybody from the top down, but this ground up joint, for me, it keeps me humble.
Man, because
it keeps me humble, and it keeps me being able to remember the ground. Like,
you got to remember the ground beneath you. You can't
like,
remember the ground if you're standing on it.
Was it Mr. T in like an old interview or something? He had like all the gold, and then he had these horrible like sneakers on, and he was like, he purposely would do that because he said it kept him humble.
Exactly.
This dude got thousands of dollars, literally, in pure gold around his neck, and these worn down, scraped up, jacked up looking homeless sneakers.
Right.
And he's like, it keep me humble.
And you want to forget.
Your man Toby, you mentioned Toby. He does the same thing. Yep. Why wear the slides? Somebody asked him that. Yo, I always wear the slides.
Toby.
It keep me humble.
Yeah, and I think that's how I look at life as well. You know, my mentor, amazing man named Andre Farr, I learned from him how to be larger than life but still accessible. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Yeah.
How to be larger than life but still accessible.
And it's levels to that too, right?
That's a bar.
Yeah, it's levels to that I learned, you know, and as I'm growing and evolving in that space, I'm also realizing that shifts for me from season to season. You know, so for me...
Oh, the accessibility.
Yeah, larger than life facility. So for me, at one point, it was essential for me that while I was working in the school system, these kids could still see me on their block, at their corner store. You see what I'm saying? Because, they see Mr. Brady doing all these things, but damn, wow, I see him walking around my street corner, my block, or he came out the corner store I go to. Oh my good, like... That's a trip up.
Yeah.
You know? That's that larger than life but still accessible piece. You know, or when I was speaking and traveling and touring schools, I would literally be that guy that, okay, you see me you heard I was on TV and did all this stuff, but then you see me outside after school, after the let out, just talking with you all, right?
Yeah.
Building with you all. Or, you know, I get to do this work in the Bronx where as soon as I'm done doing my sessions and everything, I'm right outside where the bus is at with the kids. I'm at the corner store talking to them right outside to show that, look, we were in the school building, now we outside. And it's the same energy, right? For me, that's very important. And I've just practiced to be like that, larger than life but still accessible. I'm like, hey, follow me on Instagram. Let's stay connected.
But then you said the seasons change, and then so now the accessibility changes a lot. How do you still, with that kind of formula, how do you grow larger than life and change maybe the degree of accessibility, but still, you know, remain accessible though? Like, you know, to some degree. I mean, like, because the more you grow, right, and whatever it is you do, right, just by nature of the thing that you're growing in, or growth itself, right, you can't remain as accessible. And it's not like even like a can't from a personal space, like, or ego, or you don't want to.
Right.
It's you can't, right? Like it's like somebody who, you know, maybe is on social media, right? And I got 100 followers. And every now and then, my, like, you know, niche of supporters, my 100 followers, you know, people will send me a DM. And because I just got that 100 followers, I can respond. Like, yo, I'm right there.
Yeah.
Now, you know what? I blow up. I got 2 million followers. I got over 100,000 of people at any time sending me a DM. There's no way I cannot do it, literally.
Right.
When you're in that realm, when you grow to that degree, what's the strategy then or tools to still remain accessible? And I put that in air quotes because really by accessible, I'm meaning tangible. Relatable. How do I become world life size, global in size, and still relatable?
I think you gotta, from what I've been learning, right, and I'm still in the process of learning this. You know what I'm saying? I got great mentors around me, but one, you build a system around yourself, right? You actually build a system around yourself, right? So you start to get, more known, and now that means, hey, maybe now I direct folks to something I'm doing online that's live, and you can ask questions in the comments and I can respond like that now, right?
Yeah.
That gets a touch point as well, or maybe that means that I'm more selective with when I do get super accessible, right? Maybe I don't stay after every space that I go to and hang, or maybe I have a time limit that I do, right?
Yeah.
You have to, it's building boundaries and parameters, right? So that your time stretches out. But then also, sometimes you have to go deep rather than wide. You know what I'm saying? Deep rather than wide. So that, I'm saying? Like that could look like, maybe instead of building a lot of new connections in my accessibility, maybe I go deeper on the accessibility I have with the current connections. Right?
Facts. And I think that's what comes to my mind.
Yeah.
I think I've sought to try to do that more.
Yeah, go deep rather than wide.
Because I have so many.
And build around yourself.
I have so many really good connections already.
Right.
I don't, kind of not with the same, I guess, sentiment behind it, but it reminds me of the phrase when people say no new friends.
Right.
Right? So I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just saying I can't contain the width, the bandwidth. I can't contain that. But what I got is enough to occupy me in my time already. I already got some connections that I could go deeper in. That I could see, how can I build with this person more? Rather than finding another person to build with. And now you got now you can say I got a bunch of connections, but none of any depth and substance. Substance, right? I'm losing that. And for me, I'm a person where depth and substance means everything
to you, right?
I don't like having surface conversations. I tell people all the time, leave those for my text messages. Leave those for the inbox. If you call my phone, if you call my line, please have something of substance to talk about. Because what's good, bro? So what you doing? What's up, bro? I'm forever getting to the part where I'm like, yeah, so what's good?
Right.
Just chilling, man. You know what I mean? I just came home from work. Okay, so what's good?
Right.
Yeah, bro. You seen that game last night, bro?
Yeah, I'm not.
I didn't see the game, yo.
I'm not
so what's
cat either.
So what's good? At least 3 times I'm giving you the what's good.
Yeah, I'm not that type of cat either, man. I'm quality over quantity.
Yeah.
So I'm not even a phone person like that.
Unless it's something of substance,
of quality and substance
to get across. Yeah.
And those conversations usually last.
Yes. Yeah.
Those conversations usually last. They're not everyday conversations, but when they happen, they last. Because I also believe that life has to pass so that things can happen, so that when the reconnections happen, because every time you talk to somebody, you reconnect, right?
Yeah.
So when the conversations, reconnections happen, life has to go. Something has to pass so that there's something to talk about.
Yeah.
I've never, that's a whole other conversation. But to get to kind of to round it back to what we were talking about, yeah, man, it's going deep rather than wide and building systems around yourself. It's building a team.
Yeah,
and then then you have to look at how do you multiply impact, how you scale impact, and scalability. I mean, there's different tools now. I can give you an example. I had to scale my impact. I was a consultant for this nonprofit known as Inroads, right? They place minority students.
Fire program.
Yeah, fire program.
I was in Inroads.
Oh, you was in Inroads? Okay, so you already know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Fire program.
Place minority students into, corporate Fortune 500 internships, all of that, professional development skills, all of that, just training, all of that, just beautiful program, right? I was a consultant for them for a year. And part of my load as a consultant was I was managing their Northeast program, right? And so there was like around, how many students do we have? Like 120 or something like that.
Yeah.
And the idea was that they get coaching each month, right? And they get coaching each month and they get programming, like I believe every other month. And then also I had to recruit. Part of this consulting contract was recruiting youth to become part of their pipeline and enter into their program as high school seniors, to matriculate into college freshmen and put on a whole conference, right? So that's a lot. And it's during the pandemic. So how did I go deep rather than wide? And how did I build systems? Literally, when it came to going deep rather than wide, when I was recruiting, I didn't do a whole lot of reaching out to new school systems and districts. I just leveraged the people that I already had connections with and went deeper with that and had them make introductions for me.
Yeah.
Right? Deeper rather than wide. So my impact expanded like that. And when it came to recruiting, I just went deeper on my Facebook and my social media and tapped into that network deeper rather than wide and had them do recruiting for me as well.
Yeah.
Right. So rather than all these new connections, I just went deeper with rather than going wide with all these new connections, I went deeper with what I already had.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when it came time for me to manage them on a monthly basis, what did I do? I had to bring on 2 independent contractors, right? To manage the coaching load so that they got their coaching each month, right? Because it wasn't about me doing all of the coaching.
Yeah.
I did some coaching, but I brought on 2 folks to manage that. I brought on someone to manage the IT when I was doing their online trainings, right? I had someone on that was doing some of the administrative emailing. So it's coming from me, but I built a system around myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I used the app called Acuity where instead of me calling the young people and, hey, schedule this, I just send one email out and then have my availability and they can schedule their own slots for coaching. And I put my independent contractors on to that same thing.
Yeah.
So what does that do now? That leverages access, but doesn't take as much as my time to set up the opportunities and the appointments and the coaching sessions.
Yeah.
At the same time, utilizing this technology, I had a mass email app called Mail Merge on this Gmail. So when I need to communicate with all the young people in a high touch fashion, right, with a low touch methodology, high touch is personalized, highly personalized. This thing, I just got to plug in their emails and a message and their first names, and it will send direct personalized emails to every student. So they're hearing directly from me, right? That's another piece of a system that was built around this. So I'm at the top running all of this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But my impact now is multiplied. So now I'm reaching 100 and something young people. Now the way in which I'm doing that, you bring on, we talk about the toolbox. You wrap it all up, right? I have different individuals that are working with me on my toolbox. I have different tools, different apps, different technologies, right?
Yeah.
All of that is happening at the same time. So I'm able to multiply impact, right, without sacrificing my depth per se.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's how you do it. You change the accessibility.
I think you
I know I went there, but
no, but you mentioned something that I didn't even know you was going to go in that direction when you said building the team,
right,
as a means to grow and still remain like humble or connected, right?
Yes.
In my mind, I'm thinking of like in like the creative space, like, or like whether you a celebrity basketball player, music artist, something like that, right? Comedian or whatever, right? I think of the people that are not necessarily an integral part of what it is you do. Like, so I'm not talking about like the person you have in the mailroom, the person you have in IT, the person I thought you meant those, maybe whether they're like friendships, maybe they're family, but keeping that niche of people around you to keep you low to the ground, to keep you humble in remembering, things like, where you came from, or like, hey man, I saw you doing that interview on such and such, the other night, what you said, man, that was kind of like, that was whack, man. Like, what I mean? I know that's not you.
Got you.
Like, what I mean? People that can still have access to your ear, even though they're not on the level maybe that you are. They're not playing in the same room you are on the day-to-day workings, but you stay connected to those people. You still show up at the cookout. Right. You still come swing by their kids' game or, their events or whatever, so you can still remain connected at that low level.
Right.
To remain humble there.
I love that. I call those my PBODs. PBODs, man. Personal board of directors. PBODs, man. You need
personal board of directors.
Yeah, the nonprofit of you needs a personal board of directors.
Yes.
That have access to you.
Fact. It's like I call it the accountability team.
Yeah.
Like it's the accountability team. Not in, maybe like how many of, how they, they say at church, have an accountability partner. Right. But I mean in like a broader context where, they're individuals that like where it's most practical and used with me is my accountability team is like the team I put in place of like what you would say a record label or manager might be. Mm-hmm. Right? Right. So it's to that accountability team, those identified individuals that are close to me that I do my check-ins with. Gotcha. Or who check in with me. Like, yo, I know you said you're supposed to be working on this project, man. So how that's coming along? How you doing? You know what I mean? And those are the people I'm most honest, open, and transparent with. So whether it's like, yo, man, I've been really, really, slumped, struggling, this week, man, I got this going on. They're the people that you trust, that you are okay being vulnerable with, right? That accountability team is, again, there not only just as the support, as you begin to become, more widely known or global or this growing figure, but keep you humble too. Because it's those people like, yo, they don't care how big you is. They'll still like, slap you aside the back of your head, man.
Keep it hot, man. You need people to keep it hot.
Yo, they'll give you all the way to slap aside the back of your head.
Honest, open, transparent. Keep it hot.
I'm that dude. I would love to, any of you guys out there who listening to this, I would love to be a member of your slap you upside the back of your head team. I would love to be that dude.
Oh man.
Yo. But have you been able to be in a position where you had to be that for someone else growing?
Yeah.
Like be the person to kind of bring them back to earth, like to keep them all in proper perspective, like as they grew?
Yeah, I've done that before.
Has that been for anybody like really, really close to you?
Yeah. Yeah, hard conversation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's not my nature generally, but
how does that like go? How does that like?
As I've grown and evolved, it's really more direct now.
Because I haven't had a chance to do that actually, yet.
I've done that before. As I've grown and evolved, it's really. I learned it with young people, though. Honestly,
yeah.
I learned it with young people, man. I learned it with young people.
They'll definitely tell you about yourself.
Yeah, they'll tell you about yourself. And
but when you're doing that with another adult, though, like right, like it don't give you that like icky feeling, like especially if it's like I don't know if it was a male or a female in your experience or whatever.
It's male. It's rough, because if you're dealing with
does it go over smoothly?
Not all the time, but. As I've grown and learned how to better communicate and learn how the person receives information, it's been a lot smoother.
Like you're tailoring the approach.
I'm a tailorer. Okay. Because I want them. My thing is, I want you to.
I'm not trying to flex on you.
I want you to receive the message and not trip over the delivery. You feel me?
That part.
Like I want you to receive the message and not trip over the delivery. Sometimes the message dies in delivery, or gets stuck in delivery. You know what I'm saying?
Another bar.
It's the truth, man.
That's facts, yo.
If you like, so if I know somebody and I know, me sitting, like a couple of people, me sitting down and being, emotionally intelligent doesn't work with this person. They just need me to come out and say it. Then I know, all right, I need to do that.
Facts.
Versus, okay, no, you need for me to sit down with you and guide you through it.
So something I used to do, right? And like, other police officers that I've spoken to or told us to like think I was crazy. So, and it's so crazy because I find in so many different conversations with people that I have on the show where I bring up like these anecdotal stories about like my experience being a police officer.
Wow.
But I've yet to have an episode where I talk about like, that experience specifically or like, the journey and like, why I left and all that.
Wow.
So that episode is coming. But another anecdotal story, because it's relevant, caring about the message and not letting the delivery get the message lost, right? I remember being a cop, and when I would get sent to some of these like domestic violence calls, right? And I mean when they're like still active. So not like when you get called and you like show up and then like somebody left already and it's just shorty at the house and maybe
right.
Broken class and you like where homie at, or I'm talking about when you pull up and you could still hear both people going at it, arguing, whatever. I would walk in the front door, and I'm not talking about people going at it who like being physical. I'm just talking about just arguing.
Yeah, arguing all that.
Physical domestic, that's a whole nother approach, right?
Facts, yeah.
But where you just hear a passionate husband and wife just arguing, and that's their right, to be able to have an argument, right? At least my opinion. So I would walk in and find a chair and sit down. And now just visualize that for a second. Here's this responding officer, badge, gun, everything, walking in.
Right. Yeah.
You in a heated argument with your girl, shorty. And all of a sudden you see this uniform officer come walk into your living room space where you guys are having your, arguing, whatever. And sit.
Yeah.
And just be quiet. I wouldn't even say nothing. Wouldn't announce, hey, I'm officer something. You know what I mean? Because, in different contexts, somebody, whether it was like a little kid who was home or, somebody else who lived in the house would like, open the door, to me knocking, right?
Right.
Come in, sit down, and maybe after like 20 seconds more pass, everybody realizes there's an officer in the room here. And voices just all by themselves naturally come down. And they're like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, yeah, what's up, y'all? My approach being, let me lower myself. Right. I have to be here because somebody called. There's some concern.
Right.
But let me make myself smaller. Let me sit down so that you don't get too caught up in the appearance, the messenger's look, right?
My bad.
I don't want you to get caught up in how the messenger even looks, my appearance.
Right.
And now my message or my intervention that I hope to be helpful to you guys' argument is not even able to become fruitful because I stormed in, started yelling, letting you know, I need everybody shut up. Now
triggered people fight or flight. That's already triggered.
now the intervention that I had in mind that would have been otherwise very helpful is lost because of my approach.
Right.
And so having the end in mind, right? Having like the goal in mind, like the goal is I want to neutralize this argument, this situation, and help give you guys, offer some tools on how we move forward. But it's all that approach. Right? If I allow like, my ego or even yourself, right? Approaching, the gentleman or whatever that you have to, right? If you're not willing to tailor, at least to when you can, right? Because, you talk, when you was off here, you talk about other, stories where like, you got to intervene and it might be people who are inebriated. There's a whole nother level. There's tiers to this, right? You might not have time and opportunity on your side. Like you might enter a situation and people already hands on. Okay, my otherwise quiet come and sit down, I probably can't approach that. I got to immediately jump in and get people separated. I got to put hands on somebody, pull people apart.
That's as soon as you sound like I started flashing back some like little memories that I had and everything like that. Man, you again, every human being is a jigsaw puzzle. Every, different pieces work for different folks. Different approaches work for different folks. You just got to be cognizant of what approach you're using for who. right?
Facts.
And then when you can't be cognizant, just trust that, what your training and what you've been through prepares you how to pivot in the moment.
Absolutely.
Because whatever you do over and over again, it becomes second nature. And I always say, whatever you do over and over again comes out under pressure.
Oh,
anytime.
Facts.
Whatever you do over and over again comes out under pressure.
Facts. That's why you find those individuals where I be hearing people tell me who work in like corporate arenas, like still, they be like, yo, you get certain, coworkers or people in my building, you get them pissed off. That's when you hear their racism come out or something like that. And you be like, yo, otherwise, smile at me every day.
Right.
Cordial, polite.
Right.
You catch them in a flare?
Yeah.
Oh, the language switch
up. Yep.
It's crazy. Nah, what you practice was really you. That comes out.
It's gonna come out, man.
What's the verse out of the abundance of the heart? The mouth speaks.
Mouth speaks. Yep. Abundance of the heart, mouth speaks, man. Like whatever that's in that heart, gonna come out.
That's coming out.
That's what I done seen all the time.
Yo, so at the free lunch at the end of every episode, we have to give the people like lunch is for the body, give them something edifying for the soul, right? It's free lunch, free food for the soul. So given everything that we talked about today, what would you say is the one thing that you want the listener to be, to take away from today? Like what's the thing you want them to remember? And it was a lot. So
I know, right?
I know. Hey, at the end of the day, I hope y'all take away all of it.
Right.
But what's one you could pick out?
Ooh, okay.
That you really want the people to, and take your time. You can take your time.
I got it.
What is
consistency gets the respect, but balance gets the devotion. That's what. Look,
that's that. Yo, I'm coming out with hoodies.
Be consistent in people's lives. Be consistent in how you show up and who you are. Be authentic. And when you do that, you people have trust for you, and not only will they trust you, but being consistent in someone's lives, that's like a love language. Consistency, a love language. You show up in a certain way, people expect that from you, right? You can hold people accountable like that. You can push people, but you can't do that unless you showed up.
Facts.
So consistency gets the respect. I know this is who you are. This is what you do. This is how you show up. But that balance, and the balance is not only am I being consistent and I'm pushing you, but also, I'm there for you. I'm showing up for you. Like for real, I got your back. That's where the devotion comes in at. You know what I mean? That integrity. That's where the devotion comes in at. So consistency gets the respect, but balance gets the devotion in all areas of somebody's life. Legitimately.
That sounds like a book on leadership too. That sounds like a title of a book, yo. We might have to collab on something.
Consistency gets the respect, but balance gets the devotion.
You know what I'm saying?
New
York Times bestseller. You could get it on the shelf right now.
I know, right?
Yo, I love it, man.
Yeah.
Y'all heard it from your boy, man. Look, consistency gets the respect.
Balance gets the devotion.
It's free lunch, y'all. It's free food for your soul.
Yeah.
Peace.